Blame Joe Burrow. If you want to know why you're not winning games, look at the guy on your team who touches the football every single play. Blame Joe Burrow. I'm tired of all of the fans. This is why the term casuals was invented. There's a lot of people out there, you guys, who don't understand football. And when I say you guys, I'm talking about the Cincinnati Bengals fans. His stats were great. He threw for 350 yards, and he had a lot of touchdowns. I understand that. When the game was on the line, five minutes left, up 10 points, Joe Burrow couldn't close the game out. This is where the game really started, right? We're up 3 points, 38-35. The Bengals have the ball on the Ravens side of the field, the 36-yard line. We are within field goal range. Joe Burrow, who has up until this point, up until it really mattered, he played a flawless football game, a great football game. Now Joe Burrow throws an interception, right? Because he's staring down Jamar Chase. He was going to throw it to Jamar Chase once he saw it was cover zero, no matter what. He was staring him down, throws an interception into Marlon Humphrey's chest. Great. The Ravens go down the field, they kick a field goal. The Bengals get the ball back on their 25-yard line. They have an opportunity to go 35 or 40 yards is what we need. A minute to do it, and we have 3 timeouts. Joe Burrow is scared to make the great play. So Joe Burrow drops back, and he's trying to see a man run butt naked or wide open. He ends up taking a sack. So now the Bengals are looking at 2nd and 17. Play after that, Burrow drops back. He extends the play. Iosivas is running wide open in front of his face. Iosivas has 30 yards in front of him. His man's trailing behind him. Joe Burrow turns and he throws the ball across the field to T. Higgins, incomplete pass. The Bengals then have to hand the ball out and run the clock out to force overtime. The game should have never gone to overtime. If Joe Burrow was the quarterback that people try to tell me he is, the game would have been over. If you give Patrick Mahomes 2 opportunities to win a football game, he wins the football game. If you give Lamar Jackson 2 opportunities to win a football game, he's going to win the football game. Joe Burrow cannot do that. Jaden Daniels can do that. So when you talk about guys who are actually able to close out a game, Jaden Daniels is that guy. Joe Burrow is not that guy. I was at the stadium today. People told me if the Bengals were 3-2 or 4-1, wouldn't Joe Burrow be in the MVP conversation? The MVP conversation? What do you mean if you were 3-1? If we were 4-0? He can't win the game. That's a different quarterback you're talking about. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes. You're talking about Lamar Jackson. You're talking about Jaden Daniels. You're talking about one of those elite quarterbacks. You're not talking about Joe Burrow. So no, young man. No, young man, he is not in the MVP conversation. He could not be in the MVP conversation because he cannot finish the game. And so I ask you, and I urge you, Bengals fans who are mad at Zach Taylor, go back and watch the football game. Go back and watch the football game. Joe Burrow had 2 opportunities to win the game himself. Put it on his back. Zach Taylor said, we'll put some air under this ball. We're up 3 points, Joe. 5 minutes left in the game. We'll put some air under the ball because if we get 1 first down, the Ravens are out of timeouts. The Ravens have 1 timeout left. If we get 1 first down, Joe Burrow, the game is over. I trust you. Joe Burrow throws an interception. After that, Joe Burrow, we have a minute left on the clock. You're a top 5 guy, right, Joe Burrow? So you can go 40 yards and get us points to win the game when it actually matters. Is that correct, Joe? No, coach, I can't do that. I'm going to drop back and act confused in the pocket, and I'm going to take a coverage sack, coach. Play after that, coach, I'm going to make a decent play and extend it, but then I'm going to miss the target, miss Josevas wide open because I had already made up my mind as to where I wanted to throw it. And so when you look at that game and you say, oh, we lost it in overtime, do you know that most football games don't go to overtime? Joe Burrow could have won it in regulation. Blame Joe Burrow.